Hi. It's been some interesting days that we've had, and it is about 5:15 Pacific Standard Time. It is Saturday, and it is it is a cloudy day today here in Southern California, and I just wanted to take the time to really focus on what has been becoming my intuition and sharing that. And I think this is a really good time to slow down our ego and pay attention to that intuition that we all have inside of us, and pay attention to that still soft voice. And I wish I had a stopwatch. I used to have one about 2-3 years ago. It was very convenient because I would just stop it and I didn't have to use my phone. I didn't have to use my computer. It was very 1980s technology, and it was very simple because I want to take you through a series of meditations. And this may be a 20 to 30 minute video. It may be. That I want to take you through a series of meditations to help you and guide you through a process to connecting to this higher self, this being that loves you, and it wants the best for you. So wherever you're at, I want you to get comfortable. And if that's sitting down on a couch, sitting on your favorite chair, maybe a lazy boy, maybe even laying down on your bed, if that is comfortable for you. Just getting really comfortable. And the first thing you want to do is become aware of your breath. If you want to close your eyes, you can. And just become aware of this divine breath that you have. And just notice how you're breathing. You don't have to change it. You don't need to speed it up. Just notice how you're breathing and know that it is good. Know that it is perfect. And I want you to be aware of your thoughts that are going through your head right now. Just call attention to them, notice them, and let them go. I want you to notice the room that you're in. Hear the sounds that are around you. If there's clocks hanging on the wall and they're ticking, maybe you have a cat in another room. Maybe you have birds that are chirping. Maybe your door is open and you have birds outside chirping, or dog outside barking. Just allow it to be. Allow appearances to come and go. You do not need to hold on to any appearances. Whatever comes up in your mind, let it come and let it go. And I want you to bring this future higher self into your area, wherever you are at right now. Call to your mind this higher self that you know you are. Bring this person into your awareness. This person can be somebody that you would like to become in 5 years, in 10 years, in 1 year. Envision this self, this higher self, someone that is very brave, very noble, peaceful, loving, compassionate. They're patient. They listen. They take the time to really understand. They put aside judgments. Maybe you desire to be a good researcher. Maybe you desire to be a good data analyst. They're very analytical. Whatever it is that you desire in the future, picture this person with you. Maybe it's something as simple as, well, I really want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to get fit. And envision that person in front of you. Take a look at this person. Notice the vibe that they are expanding out. Maybe they have a soft smile on their face. Maybe they're saying, yeah, all right, good job, high five. Maybe they're a big, huge cheerleader and they're just excited. Maybe that's the way they're showing up for you. And know that this divine essence that you have called is your higher self. And know that it is perfect. And know in the now that you can create this person, this higher self. You can create them. And I want you to just spend some time with this higher self. If you want to sit down and ask this higher self, if you want to ask them some questions, this is the time to ask those questions of your higher self. take in the messages. You might want to journal about what your higher self is telling you. And you can ask as many questions as you want. Always know that you are in the creative process all the time. Our present thoughts create our today, our tomorrow, and our next week. And I want you to take this higher self of yours, this one that is wiser, it has more experience, and take this higher self of you on a trip and go back in your past 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, to these places where you made maybe a little bit wrong decision. And look at one of those areas in your life with your higher self. And I want you to look at that person who you were 5, 10 years ago, and look at that person with compassion, and look at them with love. And see how whatever it was 5, 10 years ago, maybe it was 30 years ago, see how your thoughts at that time created a reality for you. And have compassion toward that past of yours. And bring into your awareness, know right now that you are whole and complete, just as you are. And know that you are creating a new you every single day by what you think. You may want to continue this dialogue with your higher self every day. You may want to go to bed and start asking your higher self some questions. How do I handle this situation? How should I look at this situation? How do I need to pivot and look at this differently so I can grow into what I see before me? You might want to wake up the first thing in the morning and have this inner dialogue with your higher self. But that would have to be a direct intention that you choose to do. And that's how we live our lives, through direct intention. Do you intend every single day to say over and over again, when am I going to get my job back? Do you intend every single day to go on your smartphone and say, I'm going to read the headline news, and I'm going to read 5 articles about COVID-19. This is my intention. Do you intend to do that? Maybe you want to change your intention. This is a really good time to do that. Why don't you just sit quietly with yourself and again, noticing your breath. Noticing that it is perfect. And if there's something that appears, maybe a train passing by, maybe a motorcycle that's very loud, just let it appear and let it go. Maybe it's a thought that comes up in your head. Maybe it's a thought of guilt. Oh, I did wrong in that situation. I should have done this. Let it appear and let it go. Tune in to that heart center. The center of you that is wise beyond all measure. That center of you that knows where you need to go, where you need to work, who you need to become. It knows what you need to not only do, but it knows who you need to become. A being, not a human doing, but a human being. That center knows. Maybe you want to journal after this and do a mind dump. And maybe you want to set a timer on your phone for 15 minutes and say, yes, I am intending now to do a mind dump because I want to dump all of my thoughts out on paper. And I want to get them out. What a wonderful time now to journal about this COVID-19. And then you can look back at it in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. And you could say, wow, those were the thoughts that were going on in my head. Wow. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And feel how you feel in your body. Become aware if there's any tension in your feet or in your knees, in your hips, in your back. Maybe there's tension in your hands. Maybe they're clasped. Maybe there's tension in your jaw or in your shoulders. You might want to send love and compassion to those areas where you feel tension. What a perfect time right now to become aware of where our time goes if you are one of those that are laid off, in limbo, and you are not working. You're not working from home. There is no home office. Maybe it's a time for you to contemplate, where does my time go? Maybe it's a time to actually be grateful that you do have so much time, because maybe, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen after this? Will you go back to that job that you had? Don't know. What if you were working 8 hours a day and you had to travel 75, 80 minutes one way to get to work and 85 minutes home? And you only had an hour and a half of free time. That's it. You didn't have a lot of time to cook the meals that you wanted to. Maybe you really only had time to stop at a McDonald's or a Burger King after work, because you knew that when you got home you only had 30 minutes just to take a shower and go to bed. And then you had to do the same thing again in the morning. You had 30 minutes to get ready, 75 minutes to drive to work. You worked, and then 85 minutes to drive home. Maybe this is a time just to be grateful that you do have time. That we push the pause button for just a little bit. Because before, maybe you didn't have time to journal. Maybe you had 5 minutes in the morning to meditate. And that's it. I am looking at starting a website. And I'm waiting for the county office to get back to me, because I just filed paperwork for my business, Vic's Soul Heartbeat. And I was told it takes about a week to get the paperwork back, and then put the ad in the paper for 4 weeks. And then I will be looking for a website. And if there is something that you feel is very important to you, I ask that you put it in the comments below. I ask that you even go back to my old videos that I've done many years ago. Probably about 2008 or 2010. About 8-10 years ago, 2011, 2012, I have very old videos. I ask that you go back and watch those too. This is a great time to ask ourselves, who am I? Who do I want to become? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to show up as? And if you didn't like who you were a year ago, then you can shift. You can pivot. I believe it's called tacking on ships, where they're headed this way, and you just tack a little bit, and the ship goes that way. And you tack a little bit, you go that way, and you tack a little bit. And before you know it, the ship keeps on tacking. it's not going to keep on going in this direction. It's a wonderful process of asking, who do I want to become? Because if you go back in those videos, the old ones, I have very old videos going back 10 years. I was a very different person 10 years ago. And I asked very hard questions of myself. And I would encourage you for you to do the same thing. There is an immense amount of wisdom that is within you. And all you need to do is tap into your soul, heart area. That's where the wisdom lies. And once I get my website up and running, I'm probably going to have some programs on there. And I don't know how long this is going to take. It's a brand new process. And you might want to ask yourself, what gifts do I have? What can I help other people with? Because there are probably a lot of people out there that know a lot of stuff that I don't know about. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a forklift driver. What do you know? What can you bring that's of value to other people? I hope you use this time wisely, because nobody knows the future. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And blaming other people is not going to help. Saying, well, it was this person in this over there in China, and they let this get out, and this is a chemical weapon. It was the U.S. government that did this. Pointing the fingers and blaming will not lift your vibration high to love, peace, contentment. Even willingness is a higher vibration than blame or despair or guilt or fear. Blaming will not help. I ask that you, if you can, take 2 to 3 days of watching no media. None whatsoever. No media. No TV. No media on YouTube. If you have apps on your phone that pop up with notifications, turn your notifications off. 2 to 3 days. No news. Even if it's not, maybe it's not mainstream media. I ask that you just spend time away from all news. Nothing on Instagram or pop-ups or anything. Just focus on what you want to create. Focus on what you want to do. I want to walk in nature. I want to go hiking. I want to ride my bike. I want to walk my dog. I want to, what you have power to do. I'm not talking about I want to go back to work. Unless, of course, you can create your own business. But something that you have the power to do. Those things. If you want to maybe just, I don't know, maybe you just want to watch movies, but not the news. I ask you take 2 to 3 days where you just totally say, I'm not going to watch the news for 3 days. What is today? Saturday? So you can say Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'm not going to read headlines. I'm not going to watch the news. I'm going to turn off all my notifications. I'm not going to go on my smartphone and look up anything about if the country is opening up or if my job is calling me back or just nothing. Nothing. And I ask you at the end, when you're done, journal how you feel and what your thoughts were. And if you notice a difference in the anxiety and fear, if you notice a difference of a little opening up, a little window, see what that experience may be like for you. Because before my mom died, before February 2018, I used to watch the news every single day. I would wake up at 5, and by 6 a.m. I would turn on the news on the TV. And I would watch 20 minutes of the news every single day, first thing in the morning at 6 a.m. And it set the tone for my day. And then slowly she got very ill. And it got to the point where I didn't have time to listen to the news because I was caring for her so much. And I didn't have time just to sit and watch the news for 20 minutes. I had to get up at 4:30 and leave at 6:10 for work. And I was either making breakfast for me or making breakfast for her or preparing her lunch. And I noticed that I enjoyed it a little bit more not watching the news. And then once she died, that was it. I canceled her cable, didn't have whatever cable company it was, and I felt more peaceful. I was grieving the loss of my mother, but I didn't have the added dread of the top 20 minutes bad news. And I ask that you do this for yourself. 2 to 3 days, no news. And you might say, but I need to know what's going on. Just 2 to 3 days, no news. None. After 3 days, you can journal, see what your experience is like, write it down. You may find out, you know what? I think I could watch the news 1 day a week. I think I'm okay with 20 minutes of news only 1 day a week. That's it. Or you may think, I think I don't need the news every day. Maybe I could watch the news once a month. Or, you know what? I could just read headlines. That's it. I just read the headlines. I don't need the details. It's a self-inquiry that I'm asking you to do. And this heart space will tell you. It will lead you. It will never lead you wrong. It will never guide you off track. I ask that you spend time with your heart and with your higher self. And I may come back again next Saturday and do another video. Namaste.